So when you first saw East Quay, what did you think?
I guess just I had some words in my head a second. Wait, creative, artness.
What does East Quay mean to me? It means intriguing. So the original story is intriguing, how we form the idea is intriguing, the building is intriguing, and its future is really intriguing.
It's a new building, it's a sexy place to work. The design is fascinating.
Amazing career and job opportunities, lovely people to work with.
Livelihoods, excitement, friendship.
Amazing and exhilarating, but also exhausting, and it shouldn't have to be this hard.
Fun, opportunities and possibilities.
Ballsy, inspirational, educational.
Yeah, well, it's like my second home, basically.
East Quay is a place to be inspired. It's also a pretty good space for a beer in the sun.
Oh, I really like the food where you can have dinner, lunch or anything. We eat at... Why don't you stop laughing? We eat at the cafe and
Then chill out on the sofa.
yeah, that's what we
And
do.
buy stuff from the shops.
Food, friends, in cool.
Pride, friendship and fun.
A place to think.
Fun, inspirational, and great team and community spirit.
East Quay is a bold and exciting project, and it makes me feel happy for the future well-being of Watch It.
It always makes me smile. It just means a massive bonus to me to watch it, to me, to the youth watch it, to everything. It's just something extra, which is positive, great, love it. Yeah.
For me, it was a massive sense of pride, because I was involved in some of the. I built some of it. You know, it's a fabulous place to bring guests. It's a fabulous place to bring family. You know, I show it off as much as I can. I think it's a fabulous. Well, it's the heart of Watch It, I think now.
I've used the accessible pod, which is amazing.
Have you stayed in it?
I have. Yeah, I tried with the accessible pod. It has the best accessible bathroom in West Somerset.
When I first moved down, it was before they had the marina, and yeah, it was very much dying, kind of a forgotten little harbour town. So yeah, it was in need of some love. So it's just nice to see people making things happen. It's kind of different for Watch It, I think, but in a good way. Because Watch It is kind of like it's like a fishing town, really, isn't it? So I actually think it's quite nice to have the East Quay here now.
I have a different opinion to everybody else, I think. It's just not my kind of building. It's not my kind of architecture. I don't call it architecture. It's a building. But what is done inside is amazing.
Yeah, it's very modern architecture.
I do see imperfections when I look at East Quay, but I think life without imperfections would be a really boring life. And I think that it's people's imperfections that make them really beautiful. And I think things that are imperfect are so much more perfect than things that are static and conceived of as things that are flawless.
There's no roadmap and the hurdles are crazy.
It's not just pull this off, is it? It's 10 years of struggle and strife, and no, I'm not surprised. No.
You shouldn't have to break 5 people in a process like building a community building.
It's too hard.
It's too much.
Like, I feel like whenever anyone rings me up now and says, like, could you tell us how to do it? I should just say, don't, run, go and do something else. Don't do it. And whilst it is cool that people are always like, oh, it's amazing what you've done, like, sort of it's amazing. Sort of, it's only amazing because it's hard, because the system's hard. It's not amazing because some women did something. Like, that's should just be normal. Instead it's like, oh wow, some women who are mothers achieved something.
It was during lockdown actually that I decided I needed to kind of revisit my creativity because it was kind of bursting out of me at that time, like lots of people, wasn't it? I started painting for 1 hour a week, which turned into a day a week, which turned into every weekend around homeschooling. And I knew studios were coming up here and I'd kind of been bugging Jess for about 10 years about it. So I couldn't wait, and then one came up and I applied. It just enabled me to go, right, I'm going to take that huge step from motherhood back into working full time and being creative, and it's just the best thing I've ever done. It's awesome. They're going to live here basically. They're going to have to stay with me and at the studio, and then I have a creative corner for them. So it's just as a working parent, it works well. And when they get here now, they know that they can just throw their stuff all over the floor in the studio and run around all the, you know,
all the little courtyards, isn't it?
Yeah, and for them, I mean, that's, you know, from growing up in Somerset and not having many opportunities and artwork seeming an indulgence almost, now for them to think that could be a possibility in their life is just, that could be a game changer. For me to bring my children up witnessing me working creatively is awesome, because then that's a possibility for them.
That it's a educational atmosphere, you can just take a breath from the world and escape reality.
It's the children will watch it, provides them with like fun things to do and like places to go and sit with your friends.
For me, that's the purpose, or one of the purposes of architecture, is that it acts as a kind of vessel and a framework for life. It isn't something to be looked at and admired or put on a pedestal. It's something that allows life to spill out from it.
It has an amazing sense of energy.
Because there's not an angle of the building that doesn't show you some form of, not just view, but it has a vibe, it has a feeling. There's a feeling in every corner of the building.
Gosh, there's just so much going on. It's almost overwhelming actually. So we're still kind of getting used to it. But yeah, it's my home base camp.
A place where I can just hang out and not be annoyed by others. Well, it's my favourite place to hang out with my friends and chill out because of the sofa, the lift, the galleries, and what else? There's so much stuff I can't even. The balcony, sunsets, oh, and don't forget about the studios.
It's like my second family.
Also different skill sets, like Mel at the end, she can see a piece of wire and visualise a bird. I have Georgina Towler next door. She's like 3 or 4 years ahead of me in terms of having that dedicated space. And she's great because she takes it very seriously. She's academic about her approach, she's professional about her approach. So I'll pop in and say, what do you think about this green? And she'll take it seriously. And also, she can come into me and go, someone was just really appalling about my work. And I can go, yeah, it's water off a duck's back, it's fine. It's rubbing up against other people like that, whereas I said to Mel, I need to make a giant drip, and I keep having this recurring dream about it. How can I do it? And she was like, oh, you just need this. And we made one out of a balloon that afternoon, and it's just having those resources around you, but also camaraderie and support, because it's tough, isn't it, creatively? So it's just having other people around you that know that creativity is a necessity in your life, but it's a possibility to make a living.
So it makes me feel like I've got the kind of livelihood that I want.
So when I come into work, I've got a different job every day. There's fun things. There's it feels like home.
I think what I find most positive about East Quay is the fact that I'm used to working in isolation, and I wanted to come to a community, which is what I've got, and with the other studio holders and the energy around it, and it's taken time to adapt, but I'm getting there, and West Somerset really needs something like this because there's so little else.
I thought they'd all go off all around the world to do amazing things, and they did all go off. What amazing was that they all came back to watch it, and then did the amazing things here. That was the extraordinary thing, I thought.
I'm like a homing pigeon, it's where I'm going to come back to. So where I start off my adventures, make amazing art, meet other artists and friends and collaborators, and then come back here to make it into something.
Originally, the purpose of cities was that they were places of exchange. You come together to find difference and shared ideals, and they were places of political exchange. And I see East Quay as that kind of place. People come here not just because they need a studio or something to eat or to go and see an exhibition or somewhere to stay. They come to be fed by something that's kind of bigger than themselves. And when I think of the world and how divided it's been for the last however many years, and the culture wars and everything that's happened, what's great about East Quay is it's a collision of all sorts of things that you never think could coexist, from the steam railway to the coastal park to the marina, to the town, to the markets, to the studios, to the food, to everything. And it's a little snapshot of a crazy world, but it's a snapshot of a brilliant world. And it's that I think fills me with hope.
The design of the building has this form of an open arm, or a pair of open arms, where you're looking down into the town, and on different levels you sort of rise in that. It's very spiritual. So when you're on the second floor, it's almost like you're floating above the town. Your harbour's in the distance, which you can watch the tide coming up and down. It's almost like you're floating on something. You get a fairy tale feel when you're on this, I can't describe which side, but the side that looks towards Brendan Road, which is hilly and full of trees. So when you're in the activity space where the children have their groups, you can almost envisage castles and knights and all that sort of thing coming down through the hills. And because of the legends here, you feel that. Yeah. And that side, obviously, you see the whole of the channel going down. And, well, I'm just an imaginative person, so I feel America, I feel Ireland, I feel Celticness just coming up that channel towards this building.
I'm a geologist, and we're right down by the coast. It's fascinating to be right on the doorstep of the sea and the rocks. That's a really important thing about the building for me. But also it's the proximity to the community as well. There are lots of people coming through here every day, and it's fun to actually be within that environment.
It's changed, it's moved on, it has a life of its own, but it's also familiar.
And it's, even though it's like, it's a different, it's kind of like a contrast to watch it, because watch it's like kind of an old-fashioned kind of town, and this is like more modern, but it does kind of, it also, at the same time, it's kind of, you know what I mean? And I think it really kind of fits with Watch It.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know, it's just kind of like
gives off the vibe.
It's improved so much. Even the main street, like the shops and things on there, I think everybody, once one person starts to move forward, everybody follows. That's what I think anyway, and that's what I feel like is happening in Watch It.
We imagined it together some years ago and over many years. And I think the new thing for me is that it's taken on a kind of life of its own, and now it's the thing that keeps inspiring me. I mean, in a way, if for a little while we led East Quay, now it kind of leads us, and I feel it gives me kind of hope for the future in some way, and I don't know what that future is yet.
Amazing, beautiful, and never boring.
It's nice to be able to go and sit out in the sun and have a beer in the evening and watch the sun go down. What could be better?